Okay, so today we are here talking about virtual job search strategies. We know that these are very interesting times that we are living in currently, but I tend to try to look at it as every challenge provides an opportunity to learn something new and to grow. So at the end of everything, hopefully there'll be some new skills that everybody has gained from this whole experience. But we know that there are many of you that are going through changes with your job, current employment, or facing difficulty in moving forward with potential full-time employment. So we wanted to offer this virtual job search series in order to provide some tips during this time to address a lot of those issues. So as we begin, we're going to start with our first poll, and that is really to try to get a feel for how everyone is doing. So again, if you have your Zoom up, you can answer the question. It is anonymous, but it just gives us an opportunity to pause and let you guys check in. Okay, I'm going to give it 2 more seconds. All right. So most seem to be doing okay. Well, we will be discussing toward the end, of course, any resources available in case there are some other things that are frustrating or challenging for you at this time. Well, career development services, along with a lot of the services in student development and around campus, we are here for you at this time. Even though physically our location is closed, I wanted to share that you can still make appointments with a career advisor. You can still receive assistance with resume or e-portfolios or any other career-related assignments or just goals that you may have. So of course, we are trying to keep content updated as we hear new information. You can always go to the website. You can always access our Canvas tab under the Student Resources shell. And you can still make appointments through Starfish, as well as calling our number and emailing us. And then we are trying to put out relevant information on our social media pages. So make sure that you either go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and make sure that you are following or at least maybe adding us so that you can keep up to date with that information. So let's talk for a second, job versus career. So a career we know is a specific path that a person works towards in terms of their skills and experience and education. And it really is a collection of the different jobs that you will hold over a span of time. And it falls under the same umbrella. So different jobs build towards a set skill and experience for a career. So you may work at a grocery store at this point in time, and then maybe your next job is a retail store in the mall, and then maybe you move up into management and now you're functioning at a larger department store in their corporate office. So even though they may seem like jobs, you actually are building towards a career, and what that would be retail management. So when you think about career versus a job, there are differences. And during the course of you getting your education, you want to think about your career management. You want to think about what are the resources and skills and ways that you need to grow and adapt in order to, along the way, be working towards your career goals. So the career management process really embraces self-awareness, and we do that with students through the My Plan career assessments. And then also career development planning. So when you come in for career exploration with an advisor, we really start that beginning of that development. And then, of course, there's always going to be lifelong learning. So those of you who think once you finish your degree here at Lake-Sumter or when you transfer to university, that's it, I'm here to tell you learning is always a process. We have learned how to use Zoom, for example, very more proficiently. So it's always a lifelong process. And as long as you embrace that, then again, you will have very successful career management. Now, there are different job types out there. Internships, part-time, full-time, seasonal, temporary, as well as a combination of these. And right now, some of you may actually be working either part-time or full-time. However, you don't necessarily see this as your end job, your job that is building towards your career. So you plan to either switch once you finish your degree, or perhaps you are trying to find different entry points into that job that leads to your career. So right now, you have to really think about in these times, if you are needing a position immediately, is that something that you have different opportunities that you didn't consider prior to now, simply because you were trying to focus more on your career? So I believe we're going to launch into our next poll, which is, what kind of job type do you currently work in? So let me launch that. So you can either indicate that you don't have a job currently, or maybe you're full-time and it's kind of a permanent, that's your main job, or maybe you already know that it was just temporary. So you can kind of indicate that, and I'll give it a couple more seconds and I'll end the polling. All right. So a lot are in full-time positions and some don't currently have a job, so that's perfectly fine. But if right now you are looking for a position simply because your job has cut back on hours or maybe closed during this time, there are places that are hiring, and of course, we want to assist you with that. We're definitely facing some things we've never faced before and having to do things way differently than we have before. So companies have responded in different ways. So you always want to double check with an employer, even if they have a job posting out, even if you've done an interview and they've hired you, you always want to reach out and just double check to see, have things changed with their policies. So some have closed physical locations but have maintained services virtually. Others have remained open but perhaps with reduced staff, or maybe they operate normally but their hours have reduced. And then, of course, when it comes to actual open positions, it really depends on the industry. Some employers that we have actively reached out to during this time have indicated some of their positions have been put on hold. Others have indicated they have an increase in need simply to meet the demands of what we're facing at this time. Others maybe have hired, for example, summer jobs, which are more internship positions, but they're changing when the student would come in and start working. So once again, you want to just make sure that you're checking with any position that's posted and talk directly to that employer. So here's kind of the silver lining in everything. Again, you want to look at this as an opportunity. So any position that you may get, even if it's just temporary, because you're not interested necessarily in working at a call center, try something new. This is a great way to develop new skills or hone skills that you already have. Of course, it's going to expand your professional network, because just imagine the new people that you will be meeting, the new supervisors that you will be interacting with, that can all provide really great references. And then you may surprise yourself and discover a new career option. Perhaps you didn't realize how well you would enjoy something, or how well that you're able to do the position, or the opportunities to move up in management that may exist at a particular job versus where you currently work. So think of it as an opportunity, because we're all having to use different technology platforms, and the need for social media presence definitely has increased. And you may be able to demonstrate your leadership skills by teaching the folks that you'll be working with a new skill in terms of technology. So you can possibly create new opportunities that the employer didn't even realize. So I'm going to do a quick poll to see who all is actually currently looking for a position. So how many of you are actively needing job search assistance? I'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, so we do have a couple that are looking for an immediate job, but then also for after they graduate this semester. So what we will do now is focus on how are we in CDS alerting you about job opportunities as we hear from employers. So we try to make sure that our Laycock Career Connect is active and up to date on the job posting. So we are actively contacting those employers to see if those positions they have posted, or if they have new positions, reminding them to post on that site, so that we can make sure that when you log into your profile, that you actually are seeing the most up-to-date information. The Laycock Career Connect is our online job portal, and you make sure that you activate your account if it's your first time using it. But once it's activated, you just log in like any other site. You're able to search jobs that employers have contacted our school directly, our office, and posted positions. But you're also able to search on a larger scale through the search feature for Job Central. And that will look like many of the other job websites, where you can put a radius in a specific city. And then that way you're able to kind of narrow down your search. We're also making sure to post different positions and job fairs on our social media pages. Again, it's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then you can also look at LinkedIn, because many positions, believe it or not, are actually on there. And we will be doing a workshop in this series next Wednesday on that. We also have different job search websites that we tend to use in the office fairly often when working with the student. And so Indeed is a very reputable site, as well as Employ Florida. I do recommend that you look for the site and then go specifically to the employer's webpage to verify that the position is still active and current. Remember, these are unprecedented times, and sometimes the job search websites may not be updated as quickly as the web page for the particular company. I'm not sure I understand. So you next want to also think about what are community resources that are available. So right now there is Career Source of Central Florida, and then also the Job Connection at Goodwill Industries. And as more resources become available that we're made aware of, we will definitely make sure to share that with our students. So there's also virtual career fairs that are taking place. So we, up until this Friday, the Hire Day Orlando is having a virtual job fair. And then also later this month, our Florida ACE, which is one of the associations career services is involved in, they're also having a virtual career fair for the whole state. So definitely check our social media pages as we put the links and information out there for you to be able to search. But remember, the career fairs will not just be for immediate job assistance, but it'll also help you think about those positions to launch your career. So we want to make sure that we're addressing both of those needs. So let's talk about, are you prepared? Even if you're looking for something down the road, once you finish your education and your degree, you want to think about your resume now. And more than ever, it's important to check the format. So even if you have a resume, or maybe you didn't need a resume to apply, now definitely things are moving more digital. And a lot of employers use an application tracking system. So you want to make sure that your format is friendly for that system so your resume doesn't get kicked out. Recently, I had students in our engineering program that we literally had to go through and check their resumes because a couple of the students application had got kicked out of the system. So I had to kind of contact them and manually get it situated. So that is a real thing that can happen. And so you want to just make sure that your format of your resume is friendly for those systems. You also may need to create a different resume. So you may have one that you've been building for your career, showcasing those specific skills. For example, if you're studying computer information technology, you may have a lot of that information on there. But maybe you are applying for an immediate job at Publix. So you may need to create a different version of your resume that showcases those types of jobs that you held maybe in the past. And that's perfectly okay. Interviewing may also have changed. Are you prepared to do a phone interview? What about if somebody uses a video interviewing format? That also could change how you're prepared. Maybe you're used to talking to someone in person, but now over the phone or having to record your answers to questions in a video format, that may be challenging. So you want to just practice, and again, CDS is more than willing to assist you with that. Also, you may want to think about your attire. Again, many of the positions that you've held or maybe you currently hold, you may not have had to have a specific interview attire. Maybe they just hired you on the spot, or maybe they saw you in a different role, or it was super casual. But you may need to really think about your interview clothes and are you prepared? If they do it over the phone or the video, obviously, then that is a great good news, right? Then that means you don't necessarily have to put on that suit and tie. But those are all things that you want to consider before you actually get to the interview, because during this time, things may move very quickly with the application and hiring process. So at this point, I want to open it up for any questions. You will need to use the chat feature and make sure that you are letting us know what questions you have, and I'll definitely address it. So I'll just pause for a few minutes to see if anyone has any questions at this time. All right. So our last poll is to make sure that everyone knows what are resources available from the campus. So are you aware of campus and community resources? I would hate to leave today's workshop without making sure that you are connected for the assistance that you need. I'll just give the poll a couple more seconds. All right. Well, if there are no other further questions, you can always reach out to Career Development Services. Again, you can call our phone number, which is 352-323-3603. You can also email us at careers@lssc.edu. And you can also send us an email. So, or sorry, I just said email. You can also reach out through Starfish, and we can definitely meet with you to go through resumes, mock interviews, or any of the job strategies that we talked about today. So hopefully everybody has a great day, and will join us next Wednesday when we are talking about LinkedIn job search tools.